Finally. I don't know how, like, that was a steep hill of bad movies, like, snowballing down. And finally, you hear Iron Man, it's a Marvel non-mess movie. Marvel's always hit Iron Man out of the park. So you go in there, you know what you're going to see. You're going to see an awesome movie. When you went in there and you thought you were going to see an awesome movie, did you see an awesome movie?
I did. And the thing with Marvel movies, when they've been hitting it out of the park, at least with me. Yep. So the belief is, law of averages, is this going to be the one that sucks? Is this going to be the one that sucks? This is not the one that sucks, people. This was freaking awesome. Now, I'm going to warn you a little bit. We're not going to go full spoiler, but we'll go a smidget into it. So if you just want our opinion, it was a great movie. You should definitely go see it. Now, on to the review. What did you think of the story?
The way they did the story, it was really good. I mean, the way Tony Stark is portrayed in this one, it still keeps everything that happened in the Avengers. This is like what happens to Tony and his mindset and everything after the Avengers. And then I think what they really did with Tony Stark is they showed his humanity in this movie.
Definitely. The premise of the movie is it takes place after Avengers, as you just mentioned. And this movie focuses very much on Tony Stark and answers the question, what makes Iron Man? Is it him or is it just the suit? And I thought emphatically it answered it's Tony Stark.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I love little ways they showed it. Like, they put like a bunch of people in the Iron Man suit, but Iron Man only came alive when he was in it. You see Tony Stark pretty much brought down to the lowest level. He loses everything over the course of this. His home, he loses his wife Pepper, he loses Jarvis for a little while, but he comes back. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely you see movies and stuff where you see like the superhero always, and that's another good thing that the only good DC franchise ever, Batman has. It brings humanity into the character, and you can get behind that. And I think Marvel, with the recent movies they've been making, I'm still waiting to see Incredible Hulk where he's on his own. I mean, the Avengers was really good. I mean, a lot of people loved the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk, but we know Edward Norton's not doing the Incredible Hulk no more. So, you get a new guy, you want to see how he can portray the Hulk when he's all by himself and he doesn't have a huge cast of heroes around him. I mean, Thor, Captain America, they've done a lot of really good things where you actually connect a lot with the heroes. And that's one thing that DC needs to focus on, figuring out how to make that connection. And they really do really well with that in Iron Man 3. You see, like, Tony Stark go through his troubles and what he has to do to survive. It brings you back to the understanding of Tony Stark, like, when the first Iron Man, Tony Stark has his beginnings when he gets hit by the shrapnel and stuff, and then he makes the first suit, and you see the transformation there. I think in this movie you also have that same feeling and the same action happens again to Tony, where he sees everything that goes on, and it transforms him even more into the final character that he becomes.
Yeah, it's a well-written story done by Shane Black, who did the first Lethal Weapon, Long Kiss Goodnight, as well as a bunch of action movies. And that was one of the things about this. This felt very different from a typical Marvel movie because it feels more like an action flick, and with a little bit of James Bond even.
Well, the best thing about this is the third one in the series. So you don't have to establish character anymore. The character's established. We all know Iron Man. We all love him. And the people who don't know who Iron Man are now know who Iron Man is through the other movies. And I think that's what a lot of companies do. They try to get the new people who might not have read the comics or not really interested in the Iron Man comics or the Iron Man character. You see these movies and it brings you down to who the character is.
And that's a very good point. Before I saw the original Iron Man, I had no care whatsoever about him until I saw the movie. And did it go a little bit away from the source material? Perhaps, but it made me interested. Iron Man 3 made me very interested in Iron Man all over again.
Right, and that's what I love about the Marvel comic movies. They do that. They make you want to, like, wait a minute, this guy's really cool. I really want to, and then you start trying to find the old comics, try to find out what happened, the different things, and then you want to like, I wonder who the next villain's gonna be. So you start trying to find different villains in the comics to try to figure out who it would be, how you think it would be cool, and and they're really doing really well with it. And Iron Man has been like the pinnacle of like their success.
Well, let's go through the actors here and their performances. Robert Downey Jr. He is the reason I'm not looking forward to Iron Man 4, because this is essentially his
Contractual last Iron Man.
His last Iron Man. I believe we still have him for Avengers 2, but this is the last standalone Iron Man. But he nails it out of the park again.
But I think he loves the character, and I think it might come down to just a money thing, but he makes the money.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And they struggled with the Hulk, and they've seen like the downfall of the Hulk changing actor to actor to actor. Sometimes when you're trying to build something like this, you need to give more than you think just to make that more. And I can't see anybody else portraying Iron Man. I'm not saying that there anybody out there that could portray Iron Man as good as Robert, but he's sustained that character by who he is, his presence, and everything about him. And to change that this far along could be detrimental to the series.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. On the walk home, I was trying to think who would play him after this. I can't think of anybody. Robert Downey Jr. just fits so smoothly into that. Not saying that I couldn't be surprised. I never thought Heath Ledger could play the Joker, and look how that turned out. But yeah, I mean,
he killed it.
Oh
no, sorry, that's a bad joke. I mean, he was one of the better Jokers, and
they forgive me, don't worry, dude.
I know. No, but he was another guy, and again, it's the Batman series. He got people interested in the Joker again, even though the Joker is one of the most widely known villains in DC history. Because and that's one thing I liked about the Batman series. You got Superman that's coming out and stuff like that. I've never been a fan of Superman. Superman's arch enemy is a human who can think. Seriously. Superman uses his heat ray vision. Boom, Luthor's done. End of story. But no, because he's like this good guy and all this other crap. Well, that's fine, but then they make Bizarro. Alright, well, who can fight Superman? Nobody can fight Superman but Superman. That's a great idea. We'll make an alternate universe Superman to be his enemy. Because we can't think of anything else. And my biggest thing with Marvel is their characters, their villains, are either as good or even better than the heroes that face them. So the heroes have to bring themselves up to the challenge. With Batman. Batman is the same way. DC nailed Batman by doing that. There's a lot of characters out there, let's look at Green Lantern. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
Who's his arch enemy?
Sinestro.
Right. And what is the difference between them two? The colors they control. Seriously, let's take this ultimate villain to our hero. What's his power going to be? The same thing, but he can control yellow.
There's a little bit of a difference. One's willpower, one's fear. It's nerdy.
It's the same thing. Same thing. It's an emotion-based energy power that can do what you want. Same character, just polar opposites in hero and villain. It's like, come on. Break through that.
Now, in this one, small spoiler once again, he's not in the suit a whole lot. And I had an issue with that in Batman, because you rarely see Batman that often. But in here, I thought it really did a lot to help the characters.
Yeah, that sells Tony as the character. And it's funny because they made the joke. If you think about it, in Avengers, what would you be like? Who would you be without? What would you be without the suit?
Put the suit on.
Right? Yes. Remember though? What would you be without the suit? And in this movie, they actually show what would happen if he didn't always have the suit when he needed it.
He goes full MacGyver. It was awesome.
But he did that in the first movie too.
And plus, it really helps out a lot of characters like Don Cheadle. That's right, he comes back to play War Machine. Don't worry, they didn't switch guys again. He really looked like a badass thanks to the fact that he wasn't in the suit that often.
And he actually looked like he buffed up for the movie.
Very good, yeah. I love the action scenes with both of them. It sort of turned into, it's funny that it was the same writer as Lethal Weapon. Also takes place during Christmas, by the way. But,
so didn't Die Hard?
Yeah. Oh, Die Hard too. But they had a Riggs and Murtaugh moment, I thought, towards the end.
Yeah.
But Don Cheadle, I thought, nailed it out of the park. And
I can't complain about any actor in this movie.
No, Guy Pearce and Well, if you remember his name,
Who played?
he played the main bad guy essentially.
Oh, the Mandarin.
No, that's Sir Ben Kingsley. He played.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. Bloody heck! But Guy Pearce did a fantastic job in this one too. Like,
oh, the character.
yeah.
Oh, I keep just calling him Radioactive Man.
Yeah, that might. I'm not confirmed, but anyway, he did a fantastic job. He also introduces, and I'll just spoil this because you find this out inside of 5 minutes. He represents a group called AIM. AIM, the Advanced Idea Mechanics. I have a feeling, and this is just my opinion, that this is going to be what ties in the next phase of Avengers movie. I think we have.
Well, they always do. I mean, every Avenger movie. That's another great thing. It gets you pumped because even in this one, it's like Marvel fashion. You got the end. Okay, sorry, credits. I got really into depth in where I was going with that, and we're gonna edit that out because I gave away a lot of the movie. I'm sorry, it's such a great movie, and I couldn't stop talking about it. And I did not. We're definitely gonna take that out so that way nobody goes, oh well, I already know what's gonna happen.
I have to say, this is the first time we've seen a movie where I really just want to talk about it.
Right? We usually wait until after the review because we don't want to take anything away from what we want to tell you guys. And sometimes when we're doing this, we start talking to each other and we get drawn into the conversation and we go too far.
So I'll just mention, going back to Sir Ben Kingsley, I'll admit this was a point where I had a problem with the film. I was just watching him and really? You're going to go with the Bin Laden stereotype, really? But there is a twist. And after that, I was like, awesome! That's beautiful! Let's run with that. It was it really made the film for me. And the film, from there, just goes... It's a nice little high and low with the action. Let's talk about the action sequences. What did you think?
Again, in this movie, they've gone, full detail with everything. I mean, there's no, easy win for either side. Both sides are put to the test. I mean, there's a numerous amounts of villains in this one that Iron Man must solo face. Even though they talk about the Avengers, none of the Avengers show up to help him, which is kind of redundant because you would see all this stuff going on and it's like a world event that's happening.
Yeah.
And you would think that, alright, S.H.I.E.L.D. or somebody would be coming around to help Iron Man out, but nobody does.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think this is going to be a running problem with the movies from here on in? Because my wife was having the same issue after the movie. It was like, why didn't he just call for Hulk? Or why didn't he call Captain America or S.H.I.E.L.D. or someone for backup? And to me, the answer is, it has to be important. Aliens coming down to take over Manhattan, okay, call the Avengers. But in this one where it's a single terrorist attack that's essentially targeting him, okay. And plus, they were...
I feel like they targeted him.
Well, yeah, they did. He said...
well, let's not go into that, because, again, we're going to have to edit that out.
Oh, yeah. But, I thought it was really nicely done. But, anyway, the action in this one, from top to bottom, is really awesome. The skydiving scene, which you've seen bits of it in the trailer, that's not CG. They actually jumped out of a bloody plane and recorded all of that.
Except for the Iron Man suit flying and all that other stuff. That's CG. That wasn't they really made an Iron Man suit and the dude flew with it. Because somebody's be like, I don't think they actually made an Iron Man suit, Malcolm. So when he jumped out of the plane to go try to save all those people, I'm pretty sure that was CG, Malcolm.
Maybe the flames out of the boots. But it's hard for me to talk about the action scenes because I feel like I'm going to spoil some part of it. But I will say this. It is some of the most imaginative ways of using Iron Man I've ever seen. Especially the final fight, the scene when they're storming Mandarin's stronghold. Well, I love how he's used, and it never loses its sense of humor and keeps maintaining the action of it throughout the entire movie. You agree?
Oh, I definitely agree. And then, it keeps what made Iron Man so great. And that's the one thing else I like, it doesn't try to, evolve itself. It knows it's good as it is, so instead of trying to, alright, well, once if we go more serious or more this or more that, it stays with the formula that's working. And I think that's one problem a lot of series has when they start making movies. Like, okay, well, we really want to make a lot more money on this one. How do we do that? Well, let's change up some stuff. No, don't change up stuff. We want to go see it because we liked what we saw before, and that's what they're doing with these Marvel movies. They're keeping the formula the same for the characters, and you know what you're gonna go see when you see it, and that's what And you go in and you see like a whole different thing, like,
Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention online, but some people have had issues with the Mandarin and how he's been portrayed because it's not really close to the source material. But I just wanted to say, you know what? It makes sense. I love how he's used in this movie, and I think it works. And I think it offers an interesting perspective. I know Fat Kid over here had a very interesting idea for it. But long story short, go see it. Go see it. Form your own opinion. Heck, leave a comment below on what you think about some of the major parts of it. Like the video if you liked what you saw, and please subscribe. Do you have any final comments on Iron Man?
I want to say this to the people who out there who have a problem with how the Mandarin is portrayed in this movie. Remember this. Marvel doesn't take their villains and sell them short. You're going to think that you're going to not see the full extent of the Mandarin in this movie. But how many times have you seen a Marvel movie where you see a villain for the first time and you get the full power? You don't. You seen Thanos? Have you seen his power yet? No. You seen the Infinity Gauntlet in Odin's
Thor, yeah.
in Odin's
treasure room.
Yep. I mean, it leads you on to know that power's out there. Don't be surprised if later on what you expect from the Mandarin is shown. It might not be exactly what you think you're gonna see, but don't be surprised if the Mandarin you really wanted to be portrayed in this movie comes out later on in the Marvel series.
Yeah. Long story short, it's everything a summer blockbuster should be. It's fun.
In the spring.
In the spring. Yes, a little bit early. Is May at the beginning? Whatever. But it's fun. It's explosive. It's a great time. Definitely one you should go see in the theaters and then buy it on Blu-ray. I've already pre-ordered on Amazon, actually.
Isn't that funny how movies are now pre-ordered right when they come out in theaters? Sometimes even like a few days beforehand.
Indeed. Folks, go see it. Thanks for joining us. I'm Malcolm. I'm the Fat Kid. We'll talk to you
Actually,
later.
I'm the Fat Kid. He's not Malcolm and he's the Fat Kid. I'm the Fat Kid. He's Malcolm.
Yes, thanks for pointing that out.
No problem.